Good evening, Super League fans. I hope you can hear us out there. We do apologize for again the slight delay in the starting of this program, or it's technical issues. It's something that I will probably eventually learn. But fortunately, I have been joined by both Andreas and by Tim, and I'll even turn off the music so we can hear them. Let's see how this will go. Right, guys, welcome to the show. Tim, welcome. You're back for
Hello.
a second round.
Yeah, more for me.
you, you enjoyed it the first time out, I guess.
I did, yeah, it was good. I did enjoy it. I didn't think I'd want to come back, but there you go.
But here you are, and
Yeah.
and I've seen your notes, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Something about Swindon, we'll see.
And he did it to wind him up.
And hello, Andreas. Welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm really glad to be on the show.
Perfect. Well, it's good to have you on here. I'd like to have a bit of a fellow Scandinavian input. I'll attempt not to speak Swedish. I don't think that'll do anyone any favors. So we'll keep it in English for everyone's benefit. How are you finding your first season in the Super League so far? You enjoying it? Easy, difficult? What do you think about it?
Actually, I was kind of nervous before getting started. Nervous that my tactic wasn't gonna cut it, or I'm just gonna lose every game 3 or 4-0, or yeah. But it seems that even the people in the Super League are human, and even little bloke from Sweden can beat them at times. So yeah, I'm enjoying it really much. It's actually it's bring a lot of fun on the Sundays to laugh about a few games. So.
That's true. I think that's why most people do it. We say that we are experts. That obviously doesn't go for me, but for everyone else. They've done it a while. It's still a bit of an echo. I don't know who is it from, but
it's me. Give me a minute. I'm just going to swap my headphones.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll see if Tim's new headphones automatically turns off his internal speakers. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, it's great to have you on board, Andreas, and obviously great to get new blood into the Super League. There was a lot of managerial changes over the summer, but it's great to have you on board, and your team's been doing well. I mean, you've had some good results. Did you find that you have to adapt quite quickly? I mean, you've changed your tactic obviously. Now you changed them, I think, regularly the first couple of games, and now you've gone with more of a settled one for the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, it's actually a really big change for me, because like now I've played the narrow in 3 or 4 games, and I don't think I've ever played that outside of the Super League. So, and also, I guess playing with hard tackles, I guess most of us do it for most of the positions. This is something I would never do in a home save either. So yeah, it's a bit adapting and learning on the fly, I'd say.
Yeah, well, it's certainly it was a learning experience for me, as those who follow the Super League will probably know. I was the sloths manager for about half a season last year, and I'm not good at the game, sadly. I think that is there maybe a problem with the pictures or something? Oh, okay, Palmer can see it, so I think maybe it's just the Swindon setup that's not 100%. Okay, well everyone else can hear it, so that's fine.
I'm back.
You sound great.
Yeah, that's better.
Is that better?
It's perfect.
I've got my daughter's piano ones in now instead of mine.
Well, I'm glad you're spending extra money on your daughter and your stuff for her rather than for for yourself. So that's good.
I know. Well, mine are quite expensive ones. They just won't fit in my laptop for some reason. That's what it was.
That's the issue. Anyway,
my partner's saying it's all me.
Right. Well,
but even I'm technically able to put some headphones into a socket, surely.
Well, you never know. You never know. Anyway, it's great to have both of you on. Great that you could make it this evening. So we've had a bit of a delay since the last time out. So we'll maybe have a quick look at the results from last time. If we had to look at the first game, Tim, Ardsley at home to Midlothian, that was a 3-0 victory for Ardsley there. Midlothian have been not good away from home. What did you make of that one?
Awful away from home. Absolutely shocking. Have they got a point away from home yet?
No, I don't think so.
It's Yeah, just cracking game from Ardsley, really, wasn't it? I think he was expecting to win with his home form anyway. I think he was a little bit upset that he didn't beat me at home after giving me a pretty good going over. But yeah, really good performance.
But
Getting goals.
The match that suggested that maybe it's a bit of an unfortunate result from Midlothian.
Well, yeah, I see it. With Canizares getting the match, I did vote for Canizares getting man of the match. So I did vote for him in my team of the week.
Yeah, I mean they definitely created chances, Midlothian, but obviously just weren't able to take them. However, they're sixth in the league, but that's purely based on their let's say their home record. I mean they are 5-5 at home, really strong. Their away record, they're down at the bottom. They've
only conceded one. At home.
And only
one
scored
at home.
And only scored 2 away. Yeah, it's
crazy, isn't it?
It's really day and night for them.
It's the same with Ardsley as well. Look, they've not picked up a point away, and they've done all their work at home as well, which I've put in my notes.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about that in the beginning. I think after the first 3 or 4 games, when it looked like no one was going to get an away win, but obviously that's changed for some of the team. I mean, Aster's got 3, yourself got 2, Tim, Andreas the same for you. But there are still a few teams that struggle with that. Yeah, but I mean, there's not much to say about it, other than we'll see what happens with Midlothian going forward. Then we had like a kind of a top of the table ish kind of clash, I guess, with Andreas. That was you away to Alf's Aster Athletic. It was a 0-0, perhaps not the kind of classic that people were hoping for.
Well, I have to say I'm satisfied because I managed his potent offense pretty well, and yeah, maybe should have grabbed a goal or two. The top 3 a bit disappointing, but the rest of the squad really performed well. So
yeah, they definitely did. And Cafu, I think, along with the Dutch guy at Panathinaikos, they're really pushing for the kind of player of the season, or the high average of the season anyway. It's perhaps unusual to see a defender up there. I would have expected to see maybe more the strikers get with all the goals and the 8 point whatever average is, but Cafu's up there, so I guess you think you'll get at least one more season out of him.
I think I can get 3 seasons out of him without a problem. So
yeah, well, Roma are originally, of course, his original club. They are quite famous for having decent players. How old is he? 31. Yeah, well, if he doesn't, and as we can see here, here's something for all of you who like to watch players and their stats. You can have a look at Cafu. How great is he? 20 acceleration, 18 crossing. What more do you need? 5 assists in 9 games. He's very strong. So yeah, it's definitely one of the players of the season so far. But you are happy enough with the point away, I guess. I mean, again, you could have perhaps taken 1 or 2 of the chances, but
yeah, maybe with Aster not being in the shape, the best of form, I should have grabbed one. But I can't be too disappointed.
Yeah, true. Tim, what do you think of the result for Valen United away to Aster? A 0-0? Would you have been in Andreas' shoe? Would you have taken that?
Yeah, with his early season form, but in the run he was going in, like Andy says, he's obviously a little bit disappointed he couldn't nick a goal because he defended well enough. Nicking a goal would have really pushed him on. I know he's up there anyway, but beating Aster away is a big scalp at this stage of the season as well.
And moving on to the next one, Bolton Phoenix 2-0 at home to Swindon Devils. Tim, is it should Ryan be happy with that 2-0 win, or should he have perhaps pushed on considering his side's recent form? I mean, 2-0, it was convincing enough, but didn't create maybe as many chances as he would have hoped for. I'm just thinking we've seen Aster and Hooligans and other teams creating 20 plus chances in a game.
Me and Andy were talking before, and a win's a win. As long as you win, there's a clean sheet there as well. He's not had any shots on target. A win's a win for me. It doesn't really matter. I don't think it's going to come down to goal difference at the end of the season. So any sort of win's a win.
True.
I'd take Bolton, yeah. Well, like Palmer laid 2 earlier in the week. Zambrotta's come in on that right wing back. Gary Neville's gone back into his proper position at centre half. So, and things have turned around for him. Don't know how much his chairman's picking the side nowadays or what, but doing all right.
Yeah, he's recovered a bit from a poor start. Swindon, well, we'll get back to how teams have done so far over the season. So if we're moving kind of swiftly on, I mean, I know this will go on forever, but I can pretend that I'm at least trying to to speed things up. If we move on to your own side, so you had a 1-1 draw with league leaders Hoddesdon. How did you see that one? I mean, apart from the chairman's obvious lack of attention to the YouTube comments.
It's solid performance, no sixes. Rossini's playing well, that I knew he would do anyway. But first off, Craig had the better, went 1-0 up. Then we got it back and probably should have pushed on. We had plenty of chances, just couldn't finish. So it's 1 win in 6 now, which is not good form.
Not ideal, but is it 4 in the last 3? I mean, Rossini's is starting to get he's up on what's he up 6 goals he's got now.
Yeah, 6, and he was playing in a front 3 for a few games as well, and he was still our best striker in that front 3. So, like I've said, players want consistency, and I haven't been giving them that. So I'll just have to keep sticking to my formation and trusting it, which I haven't done.
And Andreas, perhaps if I can come to you with regards to Hoddesdon Hornets, you mentioned we were talking briefly there. You said that you'd never played like a super narrow formation. There's stuff that you haven't done in the Super League, in your own saves that you're doing in the Super League. If we go the other direction, Hoddesdon Hornets. So Craig persists with this 4-1-3-2. So he's the only manager who plays a formation that's available from the drop-down menu in the game. I mean, clearly his arrows are a little bit different, and I can't guarantee that his his attacking, hard, soft, whatever tackling. I can't share what they are, obviously, but a standard formation from the game. Are you surprised to see him doing so well with that formation?
Well, if it's one formation from the game, it should be this one, because this is very likely the best formation out of the box from the game, I'd say. But I am surprised because I don't think he has that good players. It's
True.
It's Batistuta and Tigalco and maybe Lucio, and then none of them would play in my first 11. So it's quite an achievement to be top of the league so far, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, and Tim, I guess Andreas is spot on there with the 4-1-3-2 being the decent formation that's available in the game from the drop down.
Well, we've spoken about it before, that is the formation that I always used to use before I came up with this one. So it was literally, as soon as you started a save, get straight onto that, do your own instructions and everything, and then crack on. And it was, I don't think there's another formation on the game that is as good as that. Nowhere near. Nowhere.
He could run into trouble this week, I think, because Lucio is so good, and seeing the other defenders he have might be a little bit shaky in the back end now.
Is Gareth Southgate fit?
We'll perhaps come to that when we see the game. I think if I remember rightly, I think from memory, I think he's moving Helguera into the central central defense. I mean, his stats aren't bad. I mean, it's one of these things. If you play a lot of lower league football, a lot of lower league management, as I do, you see a player like this and you go, oh my God, his stats are brilliant because it's full of double digits. If you look a little bit closer, it's also full of double digits that's below 15, which is kind of terrible for like a top level player.
The things I would look for in a centre half, the two things that I need are positioning and marking. And they're not bad. He's positioning at 17, which is probably why he's a good defensive midfielder as well. Marking 14, I'd play a centre half with that. I'd prefer his marking to be a couple higher at centre half, but now I take, I don't.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there are some key stats to look out for. Obviously, I think we spoke.
Decisions as well are at 16.
Yeah, I can't remember when we spoke about it on who it was with, but I think I mentioned that if you compare two players, I was talking about transfers with someone, and if you compare two players with each
I'm
other,
not talking to you about transfers.
but if you were to compare two players with each other and you look at one of them and he's got like even Helguera stats, and then you find another guy and he's got 18 or 19 in those four stats that the game really considers, then he will rank as a better central defender, even though the rest of them are pants. So you're right when you're saying that there are a few key stats that you look for in a central defender or a winger or whatever. You need I mean, it's so difficult to find fullbacks with good crossing. That's why I think a lot of people struggle to get fullbacks, because you can't get the ones that can dribble and cross, and then they're kind of only really good defensively. So yeah, so a fair point. But we'll see what he does this without the.
But also with the defensive midfielder center position, that player is not always playing good in central defender, I'd say, from the game. So that's a concern.
Yeah, well, we'll see how he performs. And if you notice there, his average was 7.25, so it's not even as if he's been doing particularly well in that position. But we'll see. I mean, as Craig's top of the table, so who are we to argue with
exactly
with his genius? But you're right.
Top man.
And Hodgie mentioned it as well. Some of the players he's been dealt those cards, isn't he? So there's only so much he can do, but he's definitely getting the most out of them. If we move on, Churchtown against Hooligans. Tim, Churchtown, they got off to a flyer for early on this season, but they've stumbled a little bit recently, and they only managed to draw with Hooligans, who also, to be fair, have been doing quite well in the last couple of games.
Yeah, it's a good point for Thiago. Kieran will probably be a little bit disappointed being at home, but he's only got 1-6 in there, so he can't be too disappointed. Yeah, he'll be happy with that wherever he is.
New Zealand at the time of recording, I think is the phrase we're looking for.
He'll be drunk somewhere anyway.
That's very likely. Yes, hopefully he'll be joining us from a bar in New Zealand. Obviously, with the time difference, I can't remember what it is. Is it 12 or something?
12, I think about 12 hours.
Early morning out there now. So anyway,
still be drunk.
Yeah, Andreas, how do you see the hooligan side? I think they're missing Mendieta. How important is that? Who's the other guy that got injured? It was Mendieta, and is it Aymar?
Aymar, yeah. Because Mendieta, I really, really like him. So that's a big concern. If I don't remember how long he's out, but a point away without Mendieta and Aymar, I think he's probably very satisfied with that.
Yeah, he should be, and I mean Ronaldinho playing quite well as well. I mean, I think is it C. Elias or Brett Emerton, or so? It's someone who came in that I don't.
C. Elias was the one that replaced Mendieta. I think C. Elias is actually really good. So.
I mean, his stats are certainly not bad, but maybe unlucky to only get a 6 here. And Kieran obviously one who throws out some kind of not crazy tactics, but slightly different than what we normally see from people. So that can obviously be a challenge for some of the managers as well. And then we had Dragon Destroyers, and they had Roy Keane back, and I think James
Robbie Keane.
True.
Not Roy.
True, they had Robbie Keane back, and he got a couple of goals, and I think Ndiaye won it for him with a couple of headers in the end. Anyone want to contribute to what happened there? I mean, it was obviously a great game with 7 goals. Are we seeing the Dragons? Are they coming back? Are we going to see something from them this season? Do you think, Tim?
What have I put? I'm just going to go to my notes.
It's an unbalanced team.
It is very, it's very back heavy, I think. Like similar to Midlothian, who have got world beaters in defence, but attack-wise, as soon as like Mpenza's gone, he's struggling. He's only got Kesman up there, but if Jamie can get a decent striker in, I mean, people say about Montello, I just nothing. He's never done anything for me. As soon as I get hold of Roma or whatever, now he's gone. Nothing. Season I like, but after a season or two maybe. But no, he's yeah, get a decent striker in, and I think he'll do all right.
Yeah, and he's obviously had to put Viduka on the bench due to both performance and I think some unhappiness issues there as well, and he definitely wasn't delivering so far. Andreas, what do you make of BTEC? They have a good squad. I mean, they are not unbalanced, but Ian's kind of struggling to get consistent results out of them.
Yeah, they're underachieving, I'd say. They need to be, with the squad they have. I think they should be higher up in the standing. They should be in the top 6 with this squad. I'd reckon so. Yeah, a little bit has some work to do.
I'd put he should be. I'd put he should be top 3 with that squad.
I mean, there are good players in there for definite. I mean, I don't know what Simon Davis is contributing, but 2 games and 750. I think it was.
Well, you've got to think that he got rid of Lee Bowyer for Simon Davies, I think.
That's unfortunate. consider well,
he had Bowyer anyway, and then now he's got Simon Davies. So
at least he can play Simon Davies. The boy is out of action for the season, but the first 8 games, obviously good for him. Last game up, I mean, we'll see how Dragons and BTEC go this week. I'm not sure if either of them have got a particularly easy game. I mean, BTEC's at home to Aster.
Dragons, they're playing Swindon.
Oh, so you reckon that's 3 points in the bag then? Well, we'll see.
Well, it's an easier game than anyone else's, isn't it?
That's fair. That's a fair point. Last up, we had Parma against the Sloths. Sloths were kind of like maybe trying to get back into it a little bit, but in the end, Parma ran away with the points thanks to a couple of late goals. I think Nicky Forenko and Nedved got that. Sloths were kind of the architects of their own downfall with 12 shots and only 3 on target, and I think that's not great. That's not what they were hoping for, I think.
I'm not going to talk about Parma because no, I'm not going to talk about Parma. But I'd love to see what he's got Crespo doing, Rob. What his player instructor. Obviously, he can't show me what he's got Crespo doing, but how can he have a 5? I don't think I've ever had Crespo have a 5. I don't understand. I don't understand.
I mean, it's maybe it's Parma's technical genius that caused it. Who knows? I mean,
well, no. Look at his average from 7 games is 6.5.
Yeah,
that's unheard of, isn't it? I think if he played in goal, he'd have a better average than 6.5.
Yeah, and I mean, I can perhaps exclusively reveal now that he's actually been dropped. So he's put Vieri back in. Yeah, he's put Vieri back in. Not that he's done any better.
6.5. Vieri's not had an assist or a goal yet.
No,
I have to say that I'm glad that Somerset the last few games has been a huge improvement though. So because he lost here, but the shots and I think he's improving fast. So.
Yeah, he's definitely.
I don't think he will be 13th by the end of the season. I think he will move up a position or 2.
Yeah, I agree with Andy. I've written that as well. That you asked if he will climb or be battling it out, and I've said I think he'll climb away from it, but I just don't understand how Crespo's getting a 5.
No, that is true. I think, to be honest, I mean the 5 is inexplainable. Either way, it's difficult to understand, but I think a lot of the low averages are also due to the kind of like odd tactical decisions at the beginning of the season, but hopefully they've got that behind them and they can be more competitive going forward. We've got our fixtures here. I think there's a couple of things I just had to cover, so thank you very much for your input on the game, guys. A couple of things that I should maybe cover before we kick off the action. I don't know if anyone's impatient. Palmer probably. We'll see. Is he on last? Oh no, he's second. Come on, Joe, relax. A couple of points to cover, maybe transfer update. I don't want to go into too much detail, and I know it's a kind of a slightly boring topic. Contact me, please. DM.
A very sore topic, actually.
Yeah, some people probably had like some fairly decent deals lined up that were.
I don't know, Crespo and Cannavaro. No, awful deals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll manage somehow. Either way. I'd encourage people to put their shortlist in, especially if they want people from outside of the league, because it'll give me a good idea of what I need to prepare, basically. There's as I mentioned, if you want to buy each other's players, you're also completely.
Now someone.
Now there's a huge echo again. Either way.
It's me. It wasn't me before. It was me. My thingy won't. Hello?
Yeah, we hear you.
Hi, we can hear you.
My it won't stay in its hole.
Right. Okay. Well,
I'm not being.
I'm not going to suggest that you're going to need help with it, but
stay in for some reason. I don't know why, but there.
Yeah,
sorry.
Either way, back in the world of transfers, if you do want specific players, then please let me know. I would say a maximum of 10. If you want 12 players, then we'll also, put on your shortlist, then we'll also handle that. If you want to buy players from each other, you're obviously more than welcome. As mentioned, the minimum price you have to pay is the valuation of the player. The valuation of the player is not the auto valuation. It is the auto valuation plus any bids that have been from non-SL clubs. So let's say a certain player is valued at 5 million, someone bids 10 million for him. I reject that obviously automatically. I don't sell your players to Barcelona or whoever. But if you want to sell that player to another Super League club, they're going to have to pay the maximum price that someone else as a minimum. Or you can ask for more. You can say, I want 50 million for Cannavaro, for example, whatever. Either way, I won't dwell on that. If you've got a specific request, if you want player scouted, now is also the time. Some of these we play with the attribute masking on, so I can't see what some kind of like completely unknown goalie that I've never heard of in the Russian league, what his stats are. So I can't tell you whether it would be a good signing or not. So if you want complete unknown scouted, then also let me know. More details in the pack tonight. So let's skip the whole transfer debate and maybe get on with tonight's action. There are probably I'm gonna have to stop reading the comments. Palmer saying something.
I know, yeah, that's what I'm finding. Stop reading.
Stop reading. Okay, so without further interruptions and transfer chats, we're going to kick off the action. I don't know what the odds are tonight. I haven't actually looked at that, so we're just going to have to go with you guys and what you think. First up, we've got BTEC Troopers against Aster Athletic. A brief introduction. BTEC, they are 4 defeats in a row. They've scored 6 and conceded 13 along the way. Ian's going with a couple of wide players tonight. We'll see how that works out. And he's got Jaap Stam back. Andreas, what do you think of Jaap Stam? Is that a player you would start, or?
Yeah, I like him. He's good. He's he's really good actually. He would start for me. So yeah.
I prefer younger players, so I'd have gone Lasisi. Oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah, I was going to say if we can maybe talk briefly about the BTEC Troopers tactics. So they've gone.
I can probably talk her through this one.
So they've gone with slightly wide, like a wide formation against Alf. Alf and Hooligans obviously being the 2 managers that you can prepare. You should theoretically be able to prepare the best against, because you always know what they're going to play like. So this formation against the Super Narrow, will it work for BTEC, do you think, Tim?
Yeah, I've got Aster win down. Mm-hmm. So, and even knowing what the formation, I tried to change it up against Alf, which didn't quite work out last minute and everything. But yeah, it can. He's matched him up defensive midfield wise. I do prefer the wingers against Alf. He's got no width whatsoever. Mm-hmm. So, but the run that Ian's on, I don't know. I've got an away win.
Mm-hmm. And if we look at the Aster side, so a couple of late changes here. I can reveal that the mystery player is Juninho.
No mystery, I don't think.
That there was a list to choose from, obviously, so perhaps not a huge surprise for everyone, but he's included. We've got Koku in as well. Emerson Placentes in the middle instead of Emerson, Nesta, and Ayala. I mean, Alf's only taken 2 points in the last 4 games, and they've only scored 2 goals actually since that game against you, Tim. And we mentioned Lee Boyer earlier in the show tonight. Is he? How important do you think he is for this tactic? If you only play with one central midfielder, you really need someone well suited to be in that position, don't you?
But he has one.
Is it
Emerson would be perfect there?
Is that? Sorry, Andy, I'm just looking. Is that not a mistake down the bottom there? Is he really wanted Placente in the middle when he's been playing Emerson there all along?
I don't know. No, I think. I mean, I'll happily double check, but
Well,
that's.
no. I'm just saying because he's had Emerson in that central defensive midfield position, which I said is sacrilege because he's probably the best MC on the game. So I'm wondering why Placenti's in. I don't understand. It's probably an Alf thing, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, Zanetti's out, so perhaps that's the.
But Placenti's not even a DMC, is he?
But it seems Alf is not. He's more concerned about Brokink and should have been Rosicki, and he doesn't mention anything about the DMC, so should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of need to stop rushing these setups for people because yeah, as you can see, mistakes are I think the last 3 or 4 weeks, mistakes have started to creep in the lineups, and it is unfortunately due to trying to get the packs out as quickly as possible. So I do apologize for that. And
Koku's not a lefty.
Sorry.
Koku. Chris said the other two are lefties, but Koku can play in the centre. That was all. I just thought.
Oh yeah.
But I have to say,
I'm reading the comments. I'm not going to read comments anymore.
The original question you had about Soul MC, he has one of the best in the world. He has Emerson. He should play in the lone MC role when Boyer is out.
I agree. Especially with some of the DMCs that I think he's got. I don't understand why Emerson's being in there anyway, but there you go.
Well, we'll kick the game off anyway, and we'll see if Alf can get a result out of that. Will I still have time to make a mistake for each of you for the rest of the season? But
mine's done. I'd have won last game if you want for you. I'm sure of it.
True. If you had Zlatan in the AMC role, yeah, that's right.
I'm only messing, mate.
We'll see
what happens, isn't it?
Well, I'll kick this one off, and apologies to Alf again for the last minute changes to his team and his formation. Palermo with an early goal.
I think it was Denilson with the corner or something there. So Denilson is doing everything.
Oh, Bruggen had a goal ruled out for offside there. Who's? Now we've got Palermo's really starting to get the goals in here. Perhaps a little bit surprising.
He was on my list as well until late on. Because I didn't think he was getting much of a game at BTEC. Now that's what the players I was looking at. Anyone that wasn't getting really much of a game, and then I voted for him player in the team of the week, and then he's got another 2 today. So
yeah, I think he started with Inzaghi. He was playing Inzaghi a fair bit, which didn't really work.
Inzaghi was awful.
That's a little bit surprising. I think this performance from Aster. I mean, maybe not.
If I'd have seen Alf's team beforehand, I wouldn't have put an away win. I don't think.
Well, with the defensive setup, you mean?
The defensive and having Juninho in there, who's an attacking player as well in an away game. I just don't understand where he's coming from there.
Yeah, I mean it's not gone well. I mean, apart from obviously the slightly controversial inclusion of Brugink, Andy, anything you see that which I'll take on me. But is there anything else you see in there that's surprising performance-wise? I mean, they did so well in the beginning with exactly the same tactic. Is it a personnel thing?
I think the DMC selection for this game it's dodgy. I agree with Tim. It looks strange with Placente in the middle, and I wouldn't line him up like that at all. So, especially when he has Biscan on the bench, I really like Biscan. So I would definitely play Biscan on the right side there.
Well, yeah. We're talking about Alf, but that formation's good. The
BTEC one, yeah. I mean, apart from the fact that I'm not sure what Ian's done to it, but it hurts my eyes that the striker is in the second position. The same when you guys send through your substitutes and the keeper isn't the first substitute. It's like the third one or something. I can't remember if it's Ian Campbell who does it or something like that. It's just random order of your substitutes. I find that I struggle with that as well. But either way, Yapstam is back and he's playing an 8. So this has really been something that why he's up here, I have no idea. But either way, Yapstam is back and playing an 8, so that's a positive for Ian. Apart from that, I think it's kind of okay. 6s and 7s. It's really Palermo who's stealing the show here.
Yeah. Up front on his own, perfect.
Yeah. I mean, we'll kick off the second half and see if Aster can find a way back in. But regardless of the perhaps slightly dodgy defensive lineup and the inclusion of Brookings, rightly or wrongly, to only have one shot, considering BTEC's recent record, it's not perfect. Oh, but this could be everything could be about to change.
What's he said to do?
Nothing. Ian doesn't provide instructions, so I'm just going to align these two and hope for the best. I mean, they are 1-0 up. Should maybe move Davies back in and give him an arrow? What kind of player is he? Just leave him.
I'd have been switching everything around. I'd have leaving Pugh in the middle and pulled Danielson to left wing.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. That's taking over completely, isn't it?
Yeah. So. I think I'm going to leave it at this, and they're going to have to hope for the best. I think I'm less experienced with this tactic than you are, obviously. So we'll see.
Well, I always go. You saw when I got sent off against Ian, I went with no striker. I always go with no striker because you've got your attacking midfielder pushing on anyway. So
right, okay.
Just try and hold out for what you can.
I mean, it doesn't seem. I was going to say it doesn't seem to be a problem for Palermo anyway. I mean, is there a way back for Aster? I mean, that's one goal there. Nope, there isn't.
There you go.
Danielson seals it for him. Not even against 10 men.
Good performance. Well played.
Although, having said that,
Alflack's a late goal. There you go.
No, Ian says in the comments.
Yeah.
He held on in the end. Andreas, good result for BTEC here, huh? And especially, I mean, Vogel has been playing
awful.
I try not to swear, but he's been playing like dog shit this season, to be honest. I mean, 625, and Ian keeps including him, so you can't have that. But even then, it's a good result for BTEC, isn't it?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
And I think was it Danielson got the?
He got the third. Yeah.
Palermo knocked the ball. Header. So Palermo sets up Danielson for a diving header. That should really be the other way around. But let's not.
He must have a 10, man. Palermo must have a 10.
You think so, with a goal and an assist, you would think so.
Yeah, 2 goals and an assist.
2 goals and an assist. Yeah, that's a 10 for him. A 6 for Vogel, and only an 8 for Danielson with an assist and a goal. That's a little bit low, but he didn't. I mean, perhaps not surprisingly, Danielson didn't have a single tackle in the entire game.
Palermo's done well from right back there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he certainly has. Very, very dominant in the air as well. I mean, 9 headers, 7 of them won. What's his heading stats? I mean, he's got 17 heading, 19 jumping, a bunch of bravery as well, probably 17, yeah, and tons of strength and stamina. So he's
4 now. Look.
Yeah.
That's 6 in 5, and that's 6 in 5 because it doesn't show the one that he's just played, does it?
True.
That's 6 in 5. Great.
Yeah.
I really wanted him as well.
If you look at Barthez has got to take. If to be fair, Aster came back into it and played really well in the second half. They were perhaps a little bit unlucky not to get more out of it. A 5 for Fabian Barthez. He's already unhappy. Awful. There's rumors he's on his way out. You can't keep putting up with that, can you? I mean,
he's
you've
awful.
got 8s along the way,
but he's awful.
But when you get a 5, and yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
What has happened with Del Piero? He was really on fire in the start of the season and really cooled down now.
He started really strong. I think both goals and assists were in his first couple of games. You're right, actually. I don't know if he just doesn't like his partner, or if more people are doing different things in that DMC role. That's perhaps stopping his 2 players a little bit. I mean, if you remember, he really needs them to run into that space in between the strikers, and I'm not sure how well that's working, or if people are just dealing with that better.
If you look at his stats, the only player that's had a bad game is Barthez, so he's probably getting something out of the game if it wasn't for Barthez.
Yeah, true.
Well, the actual match stat, yeah, look, conceded 3 out of 4 shots on target.
Yeah.
So
it's actually a good performance from Aster overall, apart from for Barthez.
It was, yeah.
Fair enough. Oh, well, yeah. Sorry it didn't hold with your prediction, but obviously for the sort of broader interest of the league to keep it as tight as possible. So for the neutrals and for everyone else who's trying to push into the top 6, Aster dropping points has got to be a good thing. I think, apart from him, obviously.
It's not me next.
No, but it does come up like this.
Okay.
I've got it under control now. I think.
I know. I've noticed. It's really impressive. Well done.
It only took about 8 weeks to figure it out. So we've got an exciting game coming up now here. We've got Bolton Phoenix against Panathinaikos. Bolton are 3 wins on the chart, unbeaten in 4. They could be in the top 6 by the end of the evening, despite their kind of horrific start to the season. Luis Figo, can we speak a little bit about Figo? Because
I'll let Andy take.
Yeah, this. I hate Figo.
I do as well.
This is just pure luck. Just drop him fast and put someone else in.
Pure luck. I mean, he's got like 5 goals in his last 3 games. He's carrying Bolton basically.
I'd play Henri in that position, I think.
I'd play Macera. That Mariano Macera is absolutely top draw on the game. Top draw.
Yeah, I mean he's fast for sure. I mean he's got a couple of lower stats.
With his flair.
Yeah.
His flair, his acceleration, his pace, superb.
Bolton has been actually, even though he's quite low in the standing, in almost all the games he's been putting under pressure. I think he's been unlucky so far. So I think Bolton is likely going to the playoffs, I'd say.
I mean, he's definitely done. There's been a lot of pressure on the other teams. There's a lot of goals. There's a lot of not always a lot of goals, but a lot of shots for sure.
I think he's the clear-cut favorite in this game. I'd say.
Dear.
Fairly easy home game in a home win.
People, I think Andy's trying to wind Palmer up a bit, but Palmer, I don't like to praise him much, but he's shocked me. Good shot. He's brilliant. Really good. Really happy for him.
I mean, he's got a lot out of players that, I mean, perhaps again, I don't know. You guys know the game a lot better than me. I don't know if a lot of his players are household names. I mean, I know Iván is a household name and Nicky Foringo as well, but I mean, he's gone full on Christmas tree here, hasn't he? But
he's seriously. There's not one bad player in that starting lineup. Not maybe one bad player.
Gerard, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't know if you play Barcelona much, but when I'm Barcelona, he averages about 8. Okay. He's a really good player.
Yeah, I mean, he's
really good. I mean, look, I just think he's a really good player. I don't like his stamina because I like him putting 17, 18, but what a player. He's not got a bad player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wish I'd taken Powie off him now when he was trying to get rid of it.
Yeah, 8.22 average, 3 man of the match. It's going very well for him. He's got Paul Robinson in goal. You know, there's slightly unusual names. I think.
Whoa, Paul Robinson. He's one. I like him. I like Paul Robinson.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
It's 7.8 average, so he's probably not complaining. But as someone mentioned, it's quite a Palmer-esque thing to do, to find like someone like Ebesand and who's maybe not someone that anyone else would ever pick really. Despite the fact that he always scores like 50 goals a season in the Bundesliga for the first 3 or 4 years when you play the game in 6.68 anyway. But he's got 6 goals so far this season, so second top scorer in the league. Again. Perhaps a little bit surprising, but
I've changed my mind about Paul Robinson.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, Fifey thinks he's good, so I'm going to have to say he's not the best.
Have to say he's terrible. We'll definitely see. Well, Andreas has already mentioned that he thinks Bolton will maybe not cruise it, but certainly get a reasonably comfortable home win. Tim, you're less convinced?
You're joking me. Ryan's confident. I don't believe you. I don't believe you that Ryan's confident of a home win. That is unbelievable.
Well, we'll definitely see what happens here in the first half. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some goals in this one. Although Parma left it late last time out with 2 goals just in the last 10 minutes to take the win at.
He only had
slots.
one AMC and one forward in this game. Also, that's kind of defensive, I'd say so.
Yeah, but it's not paying off for him so far. I mean, Shearer with a goal there, and if there's one thing that Bolton really need to do is to find that one striker that they're going to stick with. I think if they're gonna continue, Figo's goals might dry up. You know what I mean?
Well, I've got this as a score draw, so I got the first one completely wrong. So this will probably be 5-0 Bolton or something.
Perhaps. I mean.
Oh no, he's playing well.
Yeah, it's done okay. I mean, this is very unusual for Bolton to have such a low amount of shots on target, but against this kind of like, was it the Great Wall? He calls it the Great Wall of Parma with these 5 guys there. I mean, it's difficult to get through, isn't it? But it would
be very, very ironic if after all that early season where Bolton was saying, "Oh, we were the best side, we had more shots, we had this, that, and the other," they go and nick it now when Parma's on top.
They go and champ Parma. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Ryan would take it, but yeah, I mean, a bit slightly low scoring here. Cannavaro already on a yellow. Nedved with an 8, Ambrosini with an 8. The rest maybe not so. Nicky Faringo trying to do it all himself. Should have perhaps let San in, but there we go.
It's interesting that he has Vasiliuk on the bench now, because he was kind of the provider before.
Yeah, but I think now I think Nicky Farinko, I mean, he's got 5 goals so far, so maybe he's just trying to keep the goals in. But you're right.
He's gone one up top, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so he's had to leave one out. But with someone with, it's a bit cold, to be fair. Well, especially on the run he's on. Maybe he should have just gone for it rather than playing the 2 in the centre with Nedved and Gerrard. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But we're still 45 minutes to go, isn't there? So
true. But perhaps a little bit surprising if you've got a guy with you've already got your top scorer, like the second top scorer in the league with 6 goals, who can also get an assist. Then you've got another guy with 5 goals and no assists, and then you've got a guy with 5 goals and 4 assists, and then you take off the guy who's the one who doesn't get any assists. So yeah, I mean, maybe I would have left. It's easy to be clever, isn't it? But we'll see. We'll see what happens in the second half. I mean, maybe keeping your striker on will be a good thing for Bolton, but we'll see. But definitely Parma with they're certainly making a push for it.
Just needs to finish a few chances, yeah.
Huge push in the second half. Casillas with a good performance so far, I think.
I think he'll be getting man of the match at the minute.
This one at the back is really, because it's blowing that he can play so well with one at the back, I'd say.
Especially when they're marking 2-3 players.
That was a robbery. Highway robbery.
I think so. Ryan, what you got to say?
Yeah, let's see.
He didn't even have a shot in the second half.
I am always the one out shooting my opponents. We've just been unlucky, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. We've been unlucky, blah, 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 yeah. Here we go.
Just like I said, an easy home win.
Unlucky Palmer.
He strolled through that, didn't he? Let's have a look. What was their action right at the end? Jogatas was unmarked. He did high and hard towards the goal. Casillas did well to save it right, and then at the last minute. So I think we'll be seeing a 9 or a 10 for Casillas in a minute.
I think he'll get a man of the match. If he ain't got man of the match, then it's scandalous.
Yes, I mean solid enough performance from Parma there. It's just that someone has obviously, just champed him basically. That's you can't really. I mean, away from home, if you've got, Dacour maybe with a 6, but he's got so many defensive midfielders. One of them is bound to not get that much of the ball or whatever. I mean, he's still got 40 and completed 39 passes and gets a 6. If you play away from home and you're full of 7 and 8s with 9 shots all on target,
Dacour's had 2 key tackles as well and still only got a 6. So what has he done wrong?
Yeah, difficult to say.
It's weird.
Difficult to say. Are we ready for the man of the match? Oh, it's Zambrotta.
You're joking.
Well, he got an assist.
Right. There's 2 robberies. One of Palmer not getting anything and Casillas not getting man of the match.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Figo did absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. Yes, the fewest touches. The fewest touches. no tackles, lost all 3 headers and still got a 7. Yeah, well, why not? Why not? I mean, I'm sure that Ryan will be delighted with this. I think, yeah, champed. I think it's one of our first proper champings that we've had, isn't it? Really, in the
Definitely.
league this season.
Massive champion.
Really good for the table. There's two squads in the bottom of the table, lower tiers of the table beats teams in the playoffs. So that's really interesting for the league table.
Definitely keeping it interesting at around the playoff spots, and even for the top of the table as well. I mean, early doors you could have said that maybe Aster was going to run away with it, but that's even itself out, and we've got another 16 rounds left after this one. So we're keeping it interesting. Next up, Churchley Cannons. Tim, you're up.
I'm up
against Churchtown.
Yeah.
I think I've set your team up correctly here.
I hope so.
We'll soon find out. Well, you'll be able to tell me. We're good. We've got Kutsov up in that attacking role, and Mark Kerr is back in the middle. You were missing him for a while, weren't you?
You've got Liverani on the bench. That's surprising.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's my favourite player on the game. Favourite in that position, everything. But he's not been great. So Finnan's undroppable at the minute. So
yeah,
I can't drop my captain Van Bommel. It's just I wanted to get Kerr back in his position that he wanted to be. He needs to be back in. I'm just struggling in that attacking midfield. I need a decent attacking midfielder.
Mendes da Silva may be too young in the start here. You could probably swap him for
he's been brilliant. I don't like to play straight out DMCs in the centre unless it's Neil Scally. He's the only DMC, straight out DMC that I like in there. So I like to have a defender DMC. That's why I've been after Elise off you, but your transfer dealings are just a little bit too complicated for me, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, Mendes da Silva's got 7.5 plus 7.5 average, despite his stats probably being one of the worst in your squad, or his attributes. But he's played really well. The only guy I was thinking is that I still don't understand is Romedal getting game time. But you're sticking with him. So.
Have a look at him. Have a look. What's he doing?
Yeah. I mean, 7. He's not.
He's doing all right. He's not doing good. Yeah, I would play Finnan out there if I'm honest, but just Liverani's just not doing it.
And Finnan's been doing so well in that role, hasn't he? He's not almost.
Yeah, he's been playing really well.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Well, we'll hope that we'll get a good game here. If we're looking at Churchtown, so he's gone with this formation. Any surprises?
I'll let Andy talk about this one.
Yeah, John Welsh is kind of. He's not really good in the beginning of the game.
No, I would have played Belletti.
Other than that, yeah, I like it. It's probably outside of Welsh. I'd say it's a really good squad, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's you asked in the questions about Ferguson and Davids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he misses Kale's Soroshinsky, excuse me, I have a few beers, and Jeremy's. They will cover Edgar Davids quite easily, I think. But Cahill is nowhere near on a level as Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is probably the thing that he'd be missing, Ferguson in there. I don't think he'll miss Edgar Davids too much, but definitely missing Ferguson big time.
Yeah. We'll see what kind of impact it has tonight. We'll try and kick it off. Andreas, your prediction? Timmy, I'm guessing you're going to go with a home win.
I had a draw.
Oh, you've got a draw. Controversial.
I have, yeah. Well, no, I think we will draw. We've got enough. 2. May as well go for 3 out of 3.
I don't think there will be a lot of goals in this one. It should be 1-1 maybe.
Well, we'll kick it off and we'll see what happens in the first half. Romedal on the.
Yes.
Oh, that was
Rossini.
Romedal to Rossini. So after I slacked him off, then we've not had a lot of commentators curse this evening. So that was good.
Yes.
Fully dominating.
Oh, I thought it'd broken then. What's going on? Why does it keep pausing? I want it over and done with as quickly as possible.
I mean, you're coming up to half time and you're still leading 2-0.
I'll take that.
You'll take that?
I'll take that.
Well played.
Yeah, I mean, there's...
Churchtown disappointing here.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? I mean, if I've got obviously the Cannon stats up first, but we
can see the mismatch here. It's Bauma versus John Welsh.
Yeah, good shout. Very good shout. Yeah,
that's a disaster matchup.
Yeah, if we look at his stats, I mean, Khan, who he's got superb morale, superb stats, superb everything, but he's got 5 or 7, and now he's on his way to another 5. That's also not a good sign for him, is it?
He's 32. That's all I say. I don't understand people who play players that are over 30.
No,
honestly, I don't.
You've mentioned that a couple of times.
As soon as they hit 30, that's it. See you later.
You're cashing in.
See right.
Funny story, having a shocker again. 5 headers, 0-1.
Yeah, this is almost like what we saw from Viduka and Montella for Dragons. These kind of like inability to win headers. So that's the central defenders for the Cannons doing pretty well, I think. Anyone? I mean, there's not really a lot to talk about here from Churchtown's side.
I think since he missed out on Maldini in a few games, and that's been kind of the downfall for Churchtown.
Yeah, I think his fitness is not the highest. But as you pointed out, Wilfred Boomer in sort of head to head with Welsh.
It's another one. It's another one of those though, isn't it? Romadal's got his assist and only on 7. I know he's only touched the ball 9 times. And we're playing a lot down the left-hand side. I'm not going to argue that. But Baumer's not really done that much, and he's got a 9.
But he's got key headers and key tackles. Key passes.
Yeah, good performance in the first half. Let's see if
I'm just trying to stick up for my boy Dennis. That's all I'm trying to do.
Let's see if you can keep it up in the second half. That's Rossini on 7 for the season, so he's hunting down Batistuta. I mean, obviously the Hornets at home to Ardsley. So
I think I've put in my notes that I think Batistuta gets a hat trick tonight anyway. So
we'll see if Rossini can match that. A little bit more Churchtown action in the beginning of the second half here. But Romadal is still doing things.
Probably gone down to a 6 now, though.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
I don't like 2-0. I do not like 2-0.
There's a lot better from Churchtown in the second half, but they're still not converting. And Romadal misses from a good position anyway. Yeah. 10 minutes, 5 minutes to go.
It's not over yet.
No, but it is now.
Oh, we needed that.
That's really a good, solid 3 points for you there.
Yes, take it. It's a win.
Yeah, and a good performance as well. I mean, 11 shots, 6 on target.
Solid. Yeah, we'll take it.
All of the maybe a lot of the possession in kind of sort of center-ish, not entirely evenly distributed, but good stats again. And good stats for all your boys there. Good numbers.
Solid. Take it. Go on to the next one. Run.
Churchtown also doing relatively well. Let down presumably by a couple of Khan howlers in the first half. Then.
I don't know what.
But that's strange because he was not on a 5 on halftime.
He was.
Yeah, he was.
He was. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. So the first thing happened. Romadal got to the byline, delivered to a header for Rossini, and the other one. Kerr scored a wonderful blah 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 Cannon's move, etc.
We needed him back. We needed Kerr back. Like you said that Kerr's not fulfilling his potential. He's only played 4 games or 3 games. He's been injured most of the season, so
yeah, true. He got injured early on, and he didn't have a chance to. I mean, he got a goal, but he didn't have a chance to do a lot before that. So so we can see that. I mean, Kerr's back doing really well in that individual central midfield role.
I never used to like MCs until I started playing this way, and the MC was just on his own. I feel that they play so much better just left on their own with no one around them. I used to always play a DMC in that middle. When I used to play 4-1-3-2, I used to play DMC in the middle because I could never get anything out of an MC. which I don't know why. And then as soon as he's been just left on their own, that's why I found I like that Johansson from Strasbourg. He's very good on it as well.
I actually do it the other way around. I always, the central one of the three, I change, because I think the game maybe defaults to that. I can't remember. I always change the two on the side to be more sort of like holding midfielders or whatever, and changes the central one to an attacking midfielder, and that kind of works better. But anyway, it's a good result for
I think that's the beauty of the game, though, isn't it? Everyone has their own different way of playing. I think that's why it's kept us so involved over all these years. It's just because there's so many different ways of doing things. It's a magical game. Magical.
Andreas, how do you play your three in a 4-1-3-2? Do you go with the two on the side as defensive or attacking, or all three attacking? How do you set up in a 4-1-3-2?
I have to say I play all three pretty much attacking then. Because I feel with only two forwards up front, I want attacking midfielders in the center of the pitch. So I will not play anyone certainly defensive. No, it would be AMCs mostly, I'd say.
Yeah. So three people playing a standard out of the box tactic in three different ways. So I guess that just goes to show that even though the lineup looks the same,
the center one should be like a Veron type. That should be.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've only ever got anything out of an MC when I've done this. So it's weird, but I like it.
Yeah, well, it's happy day in the Jolly Cannons.
Yes, we are happy.
Dressing room. Next up, we have got Hoddesdon Hornets against Arsley Celtic. This is an interesting color thing. Why has something happened? Is that not?
That's
Fiorentina.
That's my colors.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think Hodgie likes Fiorentina, doesn't he? I think I might have seen him mention it before. Not sure.
Yeah.
Call me on that, Hodgie. Call me on it. I think you like Fiorentina.
We touched upon. We spoke about 4-1-3. Sorry, Andreas, go ahead.
Yeah, I just saw before the game that Donny he's been injured most of the season, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Cristiano Donny, because he's like probably the best midfielder he has, and still he's got these results. It's really impressive. So with Donny perhaps back sometime soon, he could improve even further, I'd say.
Yeah, I think he's I'm not sure if he's waiting for. He got most of his injured players back. I think he had 4 or 5 injured at one point. Yeah. But they aren't playing. I don't know. He doesn't like Makelele. I don't know. So we'll see how he progresses through the season. But
you talk about his two frontline strikers, and then he's got Luca Toni on the bench, who is absolutely unplayable for the first couple of seasons as well. You get him in early, he's just unreal.
Yeah, I mean he's got a decent lineup here at the front. Anyway,
he's gone with how I play it. He's got 3 AMCs in the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I say, I had to put a DMC where Scholes is.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I always played it. But Craig's getting, and I only ever had my fullbacks go into wing back.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Craig. I've said it in a couple of interviews or whatever that. I honestly think, with what he's got out of everything so far, he's the best manager in the league.
Yeah, plus he's top of the table, so it's kind
exactly.
of
difficult.
But with that squad,
in all the other leagues as well. I know he never won it, but he was always up there, first, second, third, always.
Yeah.
Even when he had. So. Yeah, good.
Okay.
And Arsley Celtic, so 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, seems to be the Celtic way to go about things this season. They've got some good performances, and then they've got some not good performances. This will be the first time.
The good performances come at home, and the bad performances come away.
So this one's going to be a bad one, do you think?
Probably, yeah. It's another one that's got I did say it right at the start when I did my first co-coms, that there's a couple of teams that I'd class as home sides, which were BTEC, Ardsley. I didn't mention Midlothian in that, but then the away sides, and Hodge got a bit upset and says, how can you say that after 2 games or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
But he's not got a point away from home yet.
True.
So
Andreas, he's got Morientes and Tristan playing together for the first time, I think, this season. Riquelme right behind them, Milevski, Stankovic. He's got a good team, hasn't he? I mean, good lineup of players.
Yeah, Milevski and Stankovic in the mid, in the central it's very defensive. I'd say I don't like that. I would put Joe Cole in for someone, I'd say.
And hope so that he could maybe create something from
Yeah,
midfield.
yeah. Also, I'm not sure about Vieira on DMC. I know it's his best position, but he's really scoring a lot of goals if you play him in the midfield. So maybe I'd play him in the midfield.
You could even swap Milevski and
Milevski,
Vieira, because Milevski scores a lot of goals, even from
Yeah.
defensive midfield, because he always comes forward for headers and stuff, doesn't he? Terry and Martin Laursen, is that good enough defensively?
Yeah, should be. No worries.
That's fair enough.
Terry, obviously, in the first couple of seasons, maybe a bit young, but he's still a good player. Laursen, he says it's the Leeds thing, but I'd have kept Ferdinand over Laursen. But he wanted to get someone else in with Ferdinand, so that was the main thing, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see if he's on the away side. Timmy, I'm guessing you've got a home win in this one.
Yeah.
Andreas, who do you think is going to run away with it? Who do you think is going to take the 3 points here?
Just looking by the selection, I like Arsenal's squad better, but the results have spoken. So it should be a home win, yeah.
It should be a home
win. It should be. That means it'll be an away win.
Well, we'll see. Hoddesdon have proven a tough nut to crack, certainly for a lot of teams so far. But,
there you go. Look, he's completely. Oh, there you go. That's more like it. Oh, goal in the same minute.
Yeah, that's unusual, actually. It's not often you see that, I think.
No.
And Morientes is scoring now. I mean, the squad is strong.
Yeah, Helguera and Cafu isn't really dominating in the back line.
No, he could probably do a little bit. I think he has better players. That's what I'm thinking. I think he has better players, but he won't be too happy with conceding 2 goals.
Is Southgate injured, Craig? Craig's on the screen now. Is Southgate injured? Just a quick question.
I personally can't remember. Possibly. Quite an open game, to be honest. 2-2 at halftime. Plenty of shots for both teams. Action is kind of evenly spread as well. Any surprises so far? If we look at Arsenal first, the away side, they've done quite well, haven't they?
Yeah, he's done really well. Yeah, big. Very surprised that it's as tight as it is. Really surprised, doing well. And we both mentioned about Vieira better in midfield, and he scored in from DMC. And commentator's curse probably kicked in there.
There's a lot of room for improvement here on both Riquelme and Candela also, so it could be a better second half, I'd say.
So they could even get better in the second half, yeah. Hoddesdon, they've kind of played okay. I suppose keepers, maybe, if we saw the stats, it was 3 goals on 3 shots on target, and he's let 2 in, Landro. So perhaps not the best keeper performance. The rest are doing okay. Batistu's not scoring.
No, you still get a hat trick in the second half.
I was going to say that's maybe a bit of a concern. I don't know. It looks as if they if you look at the passes completed, it looks as if they're hardly touching the ball. To be
no, they've not had a lot of touches, have they? No.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the second half with this one. I mean, fairly sort of even spread with the ratings, perhaps slightly better for Hoddesdon, but keeper maybe letting them down. But we'll see how it goes in the second half. Morientes.
There you go. Landra must have a 5.
Oh, it's a hat trick.
That was a hat trick, but it was for someone else.
The wrong way around, didn't it?
Yeah.
Hodgie was just waiting to win so that he can give me an absolute load of stick as soon as it finishes.
Oh, he's at work, don't worry.
No, he's not. He's on the chat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's got 4.
Oh, 4.
Landra must have a 3. Surely.
I mean, 8 shots on target and 5 goals. A 4 for Landro there. That's.
He's not the best keeper in the league, that's for sure. I did say that in one of my interviews as well. I don't know how he's getting such a good show out of Landra because he ain't great.
Yeah, and Helguera and Kufu, I think, in central defense didn't do themselves any favors when it comes to their chances for reselection.
Yeah. But really good game by Ardsley. That's
brilliant.
put up 5 away to the league.
Run out and take the dog out now.
Yeah, Andreas, what do you think? Where were the strengths here? What
this was just a Morientes show. It's it's probably more goals than he will score in the next 10 games. So just a little bit.
Yeah, and 4 assists. So that Sauri and Milevski sharing the assists. That's 2 from Sauri on the wing and 2 from Milevski through the center. So we did think about whether he had enough people going forward with so many defensive players, but it seems as if they definitely managed, didn't they? With Vieira one. So it was I would like to see what the Morientes goals were like. So Milevski headed the ball. Okay, fair enough. So it's a cross that came in. What else have we got here? Sauri sent the ball over, so that's another cross. Morientes.
Oh, triple Helguera.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of obvious, isn't it, that the 2 central defenders and the goalkeeper for Hornets have had like a day to forget at the office, I think, and Morientes has punished them. That's pretty much all there is to it.
Is it always one game ban for red cards, by the way, or is Lucci out longer? Or
no. It's in the Australian league. They don't appear to have any. Maybe if you appeal or something, maybe something can happen. I'm not sure if they can extend it or whatever. But even who was it that punched someone? Was it Aymar that punched Del Piero? Someone punched someone. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, but that was just a 1-game ban as far as I remember. So that was it really. Good result for Ardsley. That's an away win. They've got to be happy with that.
Another game with the league table just squeezing together.
Yeah. It's the lower ranked side running away with it. So next up we've got the Somerset Sloths against Hooligans. Sloths were perhaps unlucky. I think we spoke a little bit about this already. They were unlucky with the 12 goals or 12 shots that they had against Panathinaikos last week and not getting away with anything from that one.
Really strange positioning for Ballack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very.
Yes, it is. I fully agree.
I thought that was Mike Duff on the left as well for a minute.
Yeah, no, he hasn't gone quite that far. I think the big change is obviously Vieri in for Crespo up top. And
he said he wasn't happy with Brojek as well after the last game, so I wouldn't have put Ballack there. No. I think that's what everyone was mentioning about the Crespo transfer and the 2 players that he was after from me. Mm-hmm. But if you look at his attacking midfield options, and with him having Vieri and Brojek already, then maybe that was the reason he wanted the 2 players that was in that deal.
No, but Alessandro is really good.
He's good.
But he's 567.
Yeah, he's played very poorly.
Yeah, I've never really got much out of him. Everyone raves about him, but I'd always go for.
It's always an assist king when I have him.
Yeah, I mean. He's not done it for Sloth so far, and maybe the averages are a little bit different for Sloth because of the first, let's say, 4, 5, 6 games of the season, which were experimental at best, probably. Hooligans have been going strong so far, but they are.
We swapped Gamara.
Yeah. Gamara's out.
Yeah, I do like Yakubu, but I've always played him in a DMC role. Rather than at
the central defense. However, it is this kind of awkward role, isn't it? If you play those 3, the central one's always going to get like slightly poorer averages, isn't he? So
I would never play 3 at the back just because of that reason.
I said it. I said in my first co-coms, I can never get 3 to work. There's always one that doesn't play well.
Yeah, and what's the other thing? What's the other thing that you never do? You never.
Never
make late substitutions in case they come on and get a 6.
Yeah, if it's late, even if I'm losing or I'm drawing or I'm winning 1-0, if it's in the last 10 minutes, I won't bring someone on because I know they're going to get 6 and it'll ruin their average. Just one of them quirks, isn't it? It's a quirk. I'm surprised that he's picked Bakir Kyoglou ahead of Deco. I'd have put Deco in there myself, but Thiago is a man unto himself.
A shrewd operator. What do you think, Andreas? Would you play Deco instead of Kennedy?
No, I think I'd play Kennedy actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're quite rubbish, both of them. So.
that's
okay.
Fair. In the grand scheme of things, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
I would play Celias there, and then maybe Jakubo on the defensive midfield.
You could do that as well, actually.
I've got a home winner, yeah.
You thinking Sloss?
Until I saw Ballack.
Until you saw Ballack at attacking midfielder.
And you know now that Ballack's going to score 2 and get man of the match.
Perhaps. Andreas, what do you think the result will be for this one?
I think it will be Hooligans.
You think it will be Hooligans? Yeah. Well, I'm going to kick it off, and we can continue the speculation when we see. I mean, and that's Christian Vieri, very early goal
First
there.
goal.
Oh.
Ooh. Don't sub him.
I was not
sub him.
I'm not allowed to sub
him.
Hooligans really struggling with injuries at the moment. Unfortunately for them, I think this is the 6th or 7th injury they have after not having any early on this season. So this is obviously not the.
Ballack.
And that's
Get out of it. Get out of it.
He's found the key. Rob has found the key to.
Yeah, I think he plays me next.
Yeah, well, you won't have to.
He does have a lot of men sent off, doesn't he, Rob?
Yeah, and he doesn't have any defender on the bench.
No, not one defender on the bench. Wow.
I'd play like.
I'd pull Simeone back in there.
Yeah.
I'd pull Simeone to keep the 3.
And then Ballack to the midfield, and then AMC on the.
Yeah. But all of your good advice is welcome, of course. But I am kind of the one who's going to have to make.
Ian is on chat. Rob's on chat. Are you allowed him to say what he wants?
If he wants. I mean, I've kind of already
made Rob, what do you want?
He doesn't have any no red card instructions then?
He doesn't have any red card instructions, unfortunately. So I mean, he's protecting a league. So I'm going to be kind and move him down here and have him running forward, just because he's protecting that 2-goal lead. I don't know how well Simeone plays down here. I think.
Well, he's good. Simeone can play centre half, I think. So better than Risp anyway.
Who is Risp? I don't know. Andreas, you will know
Swedish.
who he is.
Yeah, he's really good. Actually, and in the game, if you're like a championship side, he's a perfect signing in the first 2 years.
Yeah.
You can get him really cheap as well.
Ooh, that was not good after the send-off.
Yeah, I'm guessing that Rob says happy with that in response to the substitution rather than to the equalizer. But we'll see. Maybe he is happy to not be winning anymore. So
that's
tough.
That's a tough one. I mean,
yeah.
It's every time he seems to get in the lead, didn't he? He was in the lead a few weeks ago, and man sent off and he got beat.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if he's got hard tackling on. I can't remember, to be honest. But I mean, everyone's playing okay. Buffon letting in the goals again.
Just having a good game.
What's happening with Buffon? Any explanation for this?
He can be every now and then. Every 5 or 6 saves, I'd say, he goes a little bit dodgy, and I think Rob's picked him up on a dodgy one.
On a dodgy one. Terrible stats for the hooligan players, to be fair. But Kennedy, say Elias with 2 assists, he's got to be happy with that. Defoe coming on and getting a goal. I mean, I think he's got Recoba as well. He's got Salas as well, and he's got
Elber also injured.
Elba. So he's got Defoe is literally like the 4th choice substitute he has for attacking players.
Not a bad one.
No, not at all. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the second half. I mean, it's unlucky for Rob, to be fair, that things are going the way that they are. With no defenders on the bench, there's nothing else we can really do. Really, I mean, we're trying to protect the league here. We could have perhaps moved Ballack back, but that's one more reason for people to give halftime or red card instructions. It does help me a little bit because
they might nick one here.
Yeah,
might
that's
nick
true.
one. Oh,
Defoe injury.
Defoe, another injury.
God,
Man alive.
I mean, I want to do this. I think that's probably the best for the last 2 minutes anyway.
Shouldn't have brought anyone on. Deco's got 6 now.
True, he has. Terrible decision.
Didn't even touch the ball, nothing.
Fair enough. I mean, Rob won't be happy, will he? But
it's a good point. It's a good point if he took before the game started, but after going 2-0 up, it's another disciplinary issue, isn't it? Let's let him down.
True. Andreas, what do you think?
It's actually unreal how many strikers hooligans have.
Yes. it's very unreal. but still, I mean, they didn't even manage not a single shot on target in the second half.
That's on Buffon.
Yeah. It's a shame on Buffon getting a 6 and Risp getting sent off. He still gets a point against one of the top teams in the league, but that you get the feeling that Sloths are very, very close to start turning people over if they get things kind of working for them. If Buffon had a slightly better game, if Risp hadn't got sent off, Damien Duff 2 assists and a 10, who would have thought it? It's
in that wide position. He is really, really good. He is good. Obviously, as a Blackburn fan, I play as a Blackburn very often, and he's out there. Yeah, he's superb. Really good.
Yeah, and vindicated in his decision to include Christian Vieri instead of Crespo, maybe with 1 goal. It's okay. Ballack getting a 7 and an assist. I mean, it's an experiment, and it hasn't gone. I mean, the difference with Sloth now and Sloth in the beginning of the season is that the experiments that he had in the first 5 or 6 games the results were appalling. To be fair,
I don't
think it was. That he's doing now are a little bit more.
I don't think it was so much experiments in the start. I think it was more he'd done well against the AI with a certain formation and thought, "Oh, this will work," but it obviously didn't. So now he's had to. I don't think he was experimenting at the start. I actually think he thought, "Oh, this is a really good formation. I've done well with it against the AI, and it'll transfer into the Super League." But you're literally playing against the best players, apart from Danny Mills, in the game. So you have to change up as best you can.
Yeah.
Like go in and get like that first game where he got stuffed against Bolton. He had no DMCs, or he had 3 at the back, and then more or less 7 attackers. So it's more a case of I think he's a bit more clued on now.
Yeah.
And his attacking options are absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. So
it's the other way. We've been talking about how Midlothian and who else was it? Defensively are so overloaded at the back.
Destroyers, Dragon Destroyers.
True.
These are the other way. They're so good at the front with Vieri, Brozek, Crespo that they need to sort their back line out. For me, I mean, Christian Verns, no, wouldn't even touch him. Yepes wouldn't touch him. Risp, I would touch him, but only if I was in League One or League Championship.
But Yepes is good. Yepes is good.
Yeah, but is he?
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. But I think the key for Rob is that he's. I mean, as you mentioned there, that 6 points lost through indiscipline, which is poor. But I'm kind of relatively confident that he'll be able to bounce back from that. I mean, you can change your tackling settings, you could do whatever. But at least
hard tackling though.
At least he's kind of doing okay result wise. I mean, he's not getting murdered as he was in the beginning. Hooligans, Andreas, they'll perhaps be a little bit disappointed considering they played against 10 men for such a long time, not to get more out of it.
Yeah, but when you go back from 2 behind, you can't be that disappointed. Also, with all the injuries, to just keep getting points is good. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And the replacements, Elias, Kennedy, they've kind of been some of the better players actually. The ones that are actually replacing some of the stars. And Defoe getting an 8 and a goal before he got injured. So, but
yeah. Ronaldinho was a disappointment this game.
That's he's normally a lot better. Yeah. Either way, that's what happens. It's not you yet, unfortunately.
One more game.
One more
getting
game.
Nervous.
One more game. We've got Swindon coming up next.
I actually think if I win, I might go top of the table when I'm on the.
Oh, behave yourself, Andrew. Andrea, sorry. Come on, mate.
It could be it could happen with all of the losses for the top place team. So this was again a top half side or a top 3, 4, whatever side that didn't pick up full points. So,
well, I've actually put in my notes about Valen. Cracking squad, little bit older. The 4 players that you said to talk about, they're getting on, aren't they? Like Keane and Cafu. But he reckons you get 3 more seasons. The only reason I want Valen to lose is to shut half and half up. That is the only thing I've written on my.
Right. Well, I'll let you have the full rant when we get to that. We do have the small issue of Swindon Devils against Dragon Destroyers to deal with first. Will this be the night that Swindon turn it around? They're without a goal in the last 3 games. Tactics appear improved, but some questions have been raised over the squad selection.
Huntelaris.
Danny Mills.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure after seeing this.
I don't know.
Zeroberto is dropped again also.
I'll have Zeroberto off you, Fifey. How much do you want?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Roberto didn't play that well last time out, but he was playing as an AMC, so.
Yeah, but no, I think, honestly, anywhere down that left-hand side where Carlos is, where Emre is, where Oliveira is, Zeroberto will do a job and get you an 8, 9. Don't know what his instructions are, but Zeroberto is unreal on this game. He's absolutely unbelievable.
Well,
so good.
Well, maybe if there's an injury to a player on the left-hand side, maybe we'll get a chance to see that. Andreas, what do you think about Huntelaar up top?
No, he's too young. He's got better alternatives. I'd say that defensively it looks decent. He shouldn't be that wide open this game. That should be fine. But I don't see him scoring a lot of goals either. So.
And if we look at the.
Why has he got no attacking midfielders? Why is Kluivert playing as a AMC and I don't Huntelaar I just don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it works out. Here's someone who hasn't got any attacking midfielders, but he does have Robbie Keane, which has helped. So this is Dragons in there perhaps. Who plays like this?
That's Ardsley just played like that.
They play like this. So
I play like that some games also. That's one of the tactics.
So we could see some goals. Ryan Giggs at left back.
Yeah.
I like that
goals. That's not left back.
Wing back.
I've had this with you before. That's not left back.
Fair enough. And Estebaria does really well for Churchtown on the right hand side. Sorry, Andreas, you've had what? Sorry.
I like that he put Sissi in.
Yeah, I mean, the way Viduka had been playing, I don't think he had a choice, to be honest.
But Sissi could score. He can score. That's.
Giletti's a good player.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that the one from Zaragoza?
I think so. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
No.
Well, maybe. No, he would have been before we went to that, I think.
I was going to say. Either way.
Is he a FLRC? Sorry,
yeah. It's the one with the super fast one.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, so he's got a decent setup. I mean, I think we spoke about this on all the times when we've spoken about Dragons and not getting results. I mean, if you look at the squad, you're not going to say, I don't want Kalatse, I wouldn't want Ndiaye, I wouldn't want Tomas. You're not going to hear that, are you? So
we said this about Ardsley. He had Milevski where Kalatse is, and he had who do you have on the right side where Tomasi was? But we said, oh, that's a little bit defensive. But then he goes and scores 5 goals.
Yeah. So will we see 5 goals from the Dragons tonight? I think we should.
Possibly. Fifey's playing.
So I take it you're going to go for an away win, Tim.
I've got an away win.
Is Zidane injured or just dropped? Or?
Yeah,
he's just dropped.
Dropped.
Okay, yeah.
So I think Zidane's not very good on the game anyway, if I'm honest.
He's better than Huntelaar.
Oh yeah, fair dues. Yeah, fair point.
Well, we'll see. It could be we could be about to be proven wrong, of course. But it's not been the best season for either team so far. And it's not been the best first half for either team so far. I mean, Huntelaar.
Fifey'd take a draw, I think.
He might even take a win.
Tell you what.
I think we should just, from now on, don't have any commentary or anything. Just bang it on and play.
As
soon as you mention someone, that's it.
What the hell did Dragon do? That's shocking. 0 shots.
Yeah, not good.
They don't even have like a defensive like tactics or anything like that. I mean, their formation is quite attacking. They've got decent players.
Simic is the only one having a good game. 7.5.
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on here. I mean, the Devils aren't playing particularly well. I mean, they're not losing. So I mean,
Danny Mills is the only one who's got a 6. You could write it.
That's a shame. Oliveira getting an assist. Huntelaar getting a goal. I mean, I don't even know. Oh, okay, we're looking at it from the wrong perspective, obviously. But he's so young and so unknown that I can't even see his stats with with Jamie's profile.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, I can't see them with Fifey, but because we start the game with Dragons, it's only if they've played them before. So yeah, I don't know. There's been lots of kind of flashing, but not a lot of things happening. Surprised, both of you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought we saw more Dragon action than what came up.
Yeah, I mean, considering his result last week, I mean, they got 4 goals against BTEC with pretty much the same formation, just with the only change being Kalatse out on the left-hand side instead of Giggs. I mean, I think that was the only real difference, but that's not enough to justify this kind of performance, I think. 0 shots as well. I mean, we'll kick off the second half and we'll see if they can work their way back into it, but this is surprising for me anyway. A little bit more action from Dragons in the beginning of the second half. I think they've had a shot at least now. And they did score a couple of goals in the second half last time out. So we'll see if there's any more to...
Yeah, the league needs a Swindon win here.
Or to prevent isolation, you mean?
Yeah.
And to keep it up with the higher ranked teams not getting 3 points.
Oh, it looks good, this.
Oh, what are you on about?
Oof.
Five is going to be absolutely buzzing. Oh, good performance.
Yeah,
I mean, play Fifey.
Solid. Can't say fairer than that.
If Danny Mills stayed a 6, yes.
Yeah. There's got to be some questionable decisions in there. And Kluivert only getting a 7 on the attacking midfield role as well. But but Oliveira, I mean, it's possible that say Roberto could have done better, but that's a good score for him, a 9 and an assist there, and Huntelaar getting a goal. I mean,
Costanzo's had a good game as well.
Yeah, who wouldn't want a 1-0 win? I mean,
take any win. A win's a win.
That's true. I don't know what to say about the Dragon Destroyers and their strikers. I have no idea. They don't even have a shot. They don't even have now. They don't even have shots on target. At least when it was Viduka and Montella, they were missing them or not having that many. Now they just don't have any. That's very unusual.
I'd move Tomasi up in the central midfield. He could probably provide some assists or create chances for the strikers, because that's the main problem right now.
Yeah, but Tomasi was playing central midfield.
In this game, was he?
Yeah, and he was at the back.
Okay.
Yeah, there's really, I mean, defensively they're doing okay. I mean, the wingers, I mean, Ryan Giggs getting a 6, considering that Kalatze got a very high score. I mean, I know it's Ryan Giggs, yeah. He doesn't play particularly well anywhere else apart from on the left-hand side.
He's not having a great season anyway, so I don't know what his player instructions are.
No,
but Giggs is usually good for a 7.7 or whatever average. So
yeah, it's difficult to see what's going on or where it's going wrong here. But but disappointing performance from the attacking players, I think. As we said before, a little bit unbalanced, but there we go. And a clean sheet for Swindon as well. It's got to be happy days for Fifey, so we'll get an extra long blog, no doubt, with many details and much elaboration. So we can't say that. We can't say fairer than that. It was he changes it every week. He puts in new players in new positions, and sometimes it goes horribly wrong, and sometimes it works. And now they've got 3 points, which means, are they off the bottom? No, they're still bottom of the table, but still. Anyway, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Last game of the evening, Andreas, you're up.
Yeah.
Home
really
game against Midlothian. You are currently on the. I will just jinx it by saying now that you are currently on the longest unbeaten run of anyone in the league with 6 games.
1-0 Midlothian.
And you're up against the team. You're at home against a team who's never won away. So it looks like this should be an easy one for you.
No, I don't think so. Midlothian played good last game away to Ardsley and yeah, because the thing is, we've played really bad in the first halves, and then in almost all the games we've turned it on for second half. So if we just can keep it like a tie score in the first half, we should be able to hopefully squeeze out something in the second half.
Mm-hmm. And I think performance-wise, you've been relying quite heavily on Keane, Cafu, Fiore, and Totti so far this season. I mean, defense have been solid as well. Told okay, perhaps, as well, apart from that 3-3 game. But Saviola and Shevchenko, I know I mention this every week, but when are you expecting them to turn up and start, dominating? Or are you quite happy with the way things are going?
I swapped sides for them for this game, so hopefully that can be maybe something, a spark, because they're not performing at all. So yeah, I'm a little bit concerned here. Yeah, I wanted to drop and play Saha, but I didn't really do it.
It's a risky one if he doesn't perform. Then
yeah.
Midlothian have gone with. There's a lot of arrows here. I can hardly see where all these people are going. He's obviously. With the issues with what's his name again?
Mpensa, yeah.
Mpensa being out, he's run into some issues with his options here. But he's got at least he's not playing. Who was it again? Neil Scally. At least he's not playing Neil Scally. So that's
why have you got such a thing against Neil Scally?
Look at him. Look at his stats, Timmy.
Right. Yeah, but look at
where would you play him and why?
In the middle of a 3, or even in the middle on his own, in a DMC, he's near enough untouchable in that position.
Tim, you need to put on glasses.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, but you look at all this, but then go and look at Sigalko's stats.
Yeah. I know.
Why does he score so many goals?
You can be a great player with just, but I don't know, because when some of the people that we speak about, if you don't buy them yourself, you will occasionally see them, quite often. I say occasionally, quite often you'll see them sort of, appearing for other clubs, and they've signed this guy, and Brosek pops up sometimes and does a bunch of stuff. Neil Scally, unless you buy him, he will spend his career at Clyde United or whatever, something. Yeah.
He starts at Ayr.
Yeah.
And that Oldham save that I'm just doing at the minute, because Alf said it's impossible with Oldham. He's now playing for Birmingham in the Premier League. Unbelievable.
Well, I'm not sold. I'm not sold on the Neil Scally situation. Either way, I think we've kept Andreas waiting for an hour and 40 minutes. So
Come on, Valen.
So Valen United are gonna see if they can continue the trend of demolishing Midlothian away from home, which seems to, unfortunately for them, have been what's happening so far. And maybe half and half scarves will need to put in a phone calls and get some red cards out, but maybe it won't come to that. Certainly the Swedes looks to have started the better.
Yay!
And Shevchenko's
I'm
getting
only
a
cheering
goal.
Shevchenko. I'm cheering Shevchenko. About time he scored.
Yay!
Oh,
And he's getting another one.
Oh, he's going to score 5 here.
No, it's Saviola. You should have swapped them
dear.
earlier.
Yeah, I should have.
What happened to we play badly in the first half and then have to come back in the second?
Yeah. Apparently the strikers wanted to play on the other side.
And apparently
goalkeeper.
goalkeeper decided that not bringing his arms was a good idea. Oh, that's a 5 for it's a 5 for Hedman.
Shay Given's been the best goalkeeper in the league. Why would you play Hedman? I didn't even notice that before.
It's in Sweden, it's Magnus Hedman. We paid him off.
Yeah.
Must be.
I don't know. I've double checked the instructions, and that's definitely what he's asked me to do.
Wow.
I mean, Shay Given 6.67. He did get a 6 last time out. He's had
7.67.
Yeah. I mean,
Hedman with all his stats. Hedman's like Sorensen. Their stats are unbelievable for a goalkeeper, but then just not very good.
I mean, a 4. That's a tough one. Surprise of the evening is that Cafu doesn't have an assist.
Yeah, wow.
That's unusual. But Roy Keane's getting an assist, and Roy Keane's only had 3 tackles. I can tell you exactly what's wrong with Midlothian's formation. They're not getting forward enough.
Yeah.
Fiore is on 3 passes. That's shocking.
He switched the ball 3 times.
I think I have a halftime instruction in what I sent for you.
Yeah. Sunday is coming on for Rui Costa, I think.
Yeah.
So
it's a debut for Sunday Odyssey here now.
Well, we'll see if he can further strengthen your midfield. If it's going to be even more difficult for Midlothian to get through, then that's not going to help. If they help them in the second half, we'll see Karsten Ramalov if he's going to be able to do something. I always think that you do a little bit worse in the second half when you're 3-0 up, regardless of how good you are.
Yeah, that's it. It's one of the things on the game. You'd be 3-4-5-0 up at half time, and then you never see anything happen after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they run out of things to say. There you go.
Yeah. Fully dominated from start to finish. Ruthless performance from Bolton United, I think we can safely say. Saviola getting man of the match.
Ian is not having a good time away from home.
No, he definitely isn't. Andreas, what do you think? Happy, I guess?
Yeah, really, really happy. The strikers, both of them played really good. So I think we just 3 quick goals and then just settle down. That's perfect. I'm fine with that.
No injuries, anything like that. Rocket Jr. managed to squeeze himself down to a 5 in the second half as well. Did even worse than he did in the first half. It looks as if you've been very much the attacking side with all the tackles that Rocket Jr., Gattuso, Ramalov had to make there. I mean, it's unusual for Roy Keane to be, what's his average in tackles? I think like 8 or something like that.
9 or something, yeah. Yeah.
And he's only had to make 4 tackles this evening. So a very impressive result for you there. And for Ian, it's back to the drawing board. He's one of the teams that are stuck with no away wins. So you did it. You went first, top of the table.
Yeah, I want to thank my mother and my father and
and the Half and Half Scalps podcast.
Yeah, they've bought some referees this season. If you ask Palmer, anyway.
Yeah, so I mean, co-commentators curse. What about it? Both of you with wins and a clean sheet.
Solid. Yeah.
Solid performance all around. Looking at the table, it's
tightened it all up, hasn't it?
it's pretty tight. With I think I said that it was pretty tight along 2 or 3 weeks ago, and now we've got 4 points between 8th and 1st, 5 points down to Midlothian, who are now 5 and 5. That's also unlucky. Everyone on the board with a win, Sloths and Devils, only with one, but they have wins. Dragons, who struggle to score goals for some reason, still only on 9 points. And BTEC, and perhaps, I mean, the form has dropped out of that Churchtown side, hasn't it? I mean, were they not top of the table early on? I think so.
Yeah, I
or
think
second
they were.
at least. Yeah. So not looking very good for them. Where's the form guide? Oh, it's here. So looking at the form guide, Bolton Phoenix, top of something. If not the table. We can laugh, but 4 wins in a row, that's a strong one. That's what Palmer was on before tonight's game.
Yeah, so the gods will probably mean he'd lose his next game.
Possibly. What happened to the league table? There we go. But yeah, Valley United top. 18 goals and only 9 conceded. So a strong defensive performance also paying dividends here. And good form both away and at home. So 7 points picked up away from home and 13 away. So that's a solid mix. We still have, now that we have all teams having secured the first win in general, then we still have Sloths, BTEC.
I think everyone's played 5 at home and 5 away now as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So maybe this is now where we can start to see in which direction the league is going. Aster is the best away team, but struggling to keep that up at home. I mean, 2-1 at home is not great for them. Midlothian still top of the table when it comes to home games, along with Palmer. Quick look at player stats. Martin Palermo is now top of the average rating table, overtaking Lee Boyer with 6 goals in 5 games. So if Ian had played him from the beginning instead of Insaki, well, who knows? Sambrata getting up there as well. Remember when this was all Aster players? Just a few weeks ago, this was all Aster Athletic players. And now we've got Roy Keane in there, Cafu, Sambrata. So looking positive for our Swedish friends. Goals, Rossini, Morientes is all of a sudden part of it with his 4 this evening. So probably player of the evening if we had to choose one. Morientes, I'm guessing.
Yeah, of course.
Hard to argue against the 4 goals. Assists, Cafu continues to be the assist king. Milevski is up there as well. Sanyol for Hornets also getting a few assists. Result-wise, anything that, if you had to Andreas, if I come to you first, any one result that really stands out for you?
Has to be Hoddesdon versus Ardsley.
And that big win.
Massively, yeah, same. That's the massive result. Like BTEC at home, Aster not playing great. I did have it as an away win, but did the stuff. Palmer, I had that as a draw. Palmer should have got a draw out of it. Bolton's done well there. But Ardsley, massive result. Unlucky on Sloths again.
Yeah, that was really an unlucky result for them. Quick look ahead to next week's fixtures, which will be not on Wednesday the 5th of December as it says here, but next Sunday is the schedule. We've got Ardsley at home to Aster with a form that I mean, bear in mind that the positions when you do this are a little bit screwed up. Yeah, so Aster are not.
I was about to say there's a few in 12th.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happens here. I think I need to click continue first. Is it?
I'm second. I'm third in the league here.
I think if I click continue and then go to fixtures, it works. Yeah, there we go. So Ardsley could definitely get into the top 6 by beating Aster. Another, I say tricky away tie for Palmer. Churchtown have not been doing that well, but Palmer away to Churchtown. Dragons at home to Bolton. They're going to need to shape up if they're going to stop Bolton, who are the form side of the league.
Hooligans Hoddesdon is a really good.
Hoddesdon's good,
yeah. We'll see how many players are back from Hoddesdon, from Hooligans. But as you can maybe see from the dates, those of you who observe these things, this is the 24th of the 11th, and this is the 5th of the December. So there is an international break. Yeah. There's an international break, so you should have everyone on full fitness. But there's also maybe, because you all have international players, there's also a chance that some of them will get injured. But you'll obviously see in the pack. So this is a bad one for me because there's a bunch of stuff to click through to get to the next round. So we'll see, but I'll get the packs out as soon as possible. Tim, you're away to Chudley?
No,
you're away to Midlothian.
Yeah, the home team. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully the confidence has been knocked out of them by Valen, and it'll give us a bit of another win would be nice.
And then we've got, I would say this one is the pick of the bunch. Maybe not results wise, but
no.
I don't know what it'll be. But 13th against 14th, that's a big one for Sloth. This is when they need to keep the discipline, isn't it? And create that gap, or for Swindon to continue their run. I mean, it'll be exciting anyway, I think. And then we've got BTEC travel to Sweden. Another home game for you, Andreas. I'm guessing, despite BTEC doing pretty well this week, you'll be confident going into this one.
Yeah, I have to be that. Yeah. I think we will probably they will have trouble scoring. Our defense is really good right now, so it's a low scoring game. Hopefully, we will do 1 or 2-0. That's the in my way the perfect score.
Fair enough, and you'll manage to keep Martin Palermo quiet. I guess you're predicting.
Yeah. Maybe, I think so. Yeah, Keane will just break his leg,
and that'll be that. Well, we'll see. We'll see what comes out of it next week. I think I'll just say thank you very much for joining, then, both of you.
No problem.
Looks as if Tim's doing some. Who's reorganizing their furniture in the middle of this?
No, I just had to really quickly run for the toilet because I've had a lot of beer and I've been holding that in for a long time. I was stood up, I was trying to hold it on, and then you were carried on. You'd like to talk, Martin? I will give you that. You love good talk. So I was like, I can't hold it anymore. I've just got to go, and then hope you wouldn't realise. So they've just literally ran and jumped on my chair, and it slid across the floor a little bit.
All right. This is the kind of quality content you only get on the CM0102 podcast.
There you go.
Right. Well, I'll let you. Am I? Or can you hear me now?
Okay, he's just run for it.
I think so, yeah. Okay, then. I'll see you later, Andy. Well played.
Yeah.
Good game.